African father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. African father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okello, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.
Greetings, this is Simon Javan Okello, and you are listening to the African Father in America podcast. This is a really special edition because I'm here with my brother from Kenya, my brother Peter Kithene, who is the founder of the Mama Maria Medical Clinic that operates 4 hospitals in Migori County and Homa Bay County in Kenya. Peter Kithene was named one of CNN's global heroes in 2007 for his work in developing rural healthcare in Africa. Today we are going to talk about the story of my brother Peter Kithene. We are going to talk about why he founded Mama Maria Medical Clinics. We are going to talk about what a father figure means to him. We will talk about what black fathers are perceived like and how we can change that narrative. We are also going to talk about how black fathers can better support each other, considering the times that we are living in where white supremacy is eminent and black people's lives are not valued. Then we will talk about how people can learn more and stay connected with Peter. So stay tuned. If you're joining the African Father in America for the first time, remember to subscribe to the African Father in America on iTunes and also on YouTube. Remember to subscribe and leave your comments there if anything that touches your heart during our conversation today comes about as we continue. So my brother Peter, thank you again for creating the time to have this conversation with me. I know you are a busy man here in Seattle where we both live these days, and you also have a family, so I really appreciate you making the time. I wanted you to just share with me your upbringing, when it is during your time as a 8 or 12-year-old that you remember the vision of being somebody that starts 4 medical clinics in 2 counties in Kenya. When do you first think you interacted with this idea in your life?
Thank you, Javan, for having me on your program. I've been following you, and it's really a great honor to be with you tonight. So I grew up in a very poor family, as many people in rural Africa, many kids in rural Africa, and the aspirations of so many, including myself, at the time was, how can we get out there and help our communities? And so something that touched my heart the most was healthcare. I lost 6 of my siblings, and then I lost my parents, and I still believe that some of those deaths were very preventable or treatable. And so as I was seeing this, I was like, if I grow up, I want to create a place where if people get sick, they go and get treated. I have a brother who became deaf. He was almost losing his life, but because there was a medical facility several miles away, his life was saved, but he ended up losing his speech and hearing. So seeing all those, I was like, if I grow up and if I get any resources, I want to start a place where people can go and get help when they're sick.
Thank you very much. It's not easy. I can't imagine how it felt to lose 6 siblings, At what age were you when you lost most of your siblings?
I was young. I mean, I was, I remember Kennedy. I still remember their name, Kennedy, I didn't even see Kennedy. Kennedy passed on when we, because I followed Kennedy. I'm the second follower. I'm the follower to Kennedy. I didn't get to see him, but I remember the girl who followed me. Interestingly, her name was Caroline. African fathers, African parents like all these names. They named me Wilson. My other name is Wilson. I remember Caroline was probably in like second grade. I still remember the song we were singing to the grave in Msambweni. She was buried in Msambweni, in the county. And then the rest was just after that until I lost my parents when around 12. But some of them I remember very vividly. I remember Caroline very vividly.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to create something that would stop the kind of things that I saw and would give parents the opportunity to raise their children, if it's possible, and give other kids the opportunity to have their parents. Parents are just getting sick and dying. Cholera will come to our villages and people just die, and we are quarantined in the villages. And since I started the clinic, we had a cholera outbreak. Nobody died. We've had 2 cholera outbreaks. The cholera outbreaks are not as much these days, but once you have a medical facility in a community, some deaths have become very, very preventable. HIV was killing people. When I was growing up, a few of these medical facilities, they attract antiretrovirals in the community. The government facilities, we collaborate with them, and all these things. Just a lot of goodness that comes out of that.
Right. Thank you. So then you grew up in Muhuru Bay, which is very close to the border between Kenya and Tanzania, and that is where you started some of your clinics. But before you started these clinics, you attended Starehe Boys Center, and this is a prestigious high school in Kenya, and many people just dream about attending it. Could you just share with me, paint for me the picture of you as a village boy walking into Starehe Center, your first day of being at Starehe Boys Center?
Yeah, so after losing parents, it was apparent that I wasn't going to go to high school. As you remember, those days in Kenya, the CDF wasn't there. All these goodness that we see these days, people like you and I going back, attracting people into the villages that end up sponsoring people. We didn't have people coming into our villages, and so there was no help at all. They drop out of school, or if your parents can afford, you go to high school. Unfortunately, I didn't have anybody who could support me, so the only hope was Starehe Boys Center. And as you said, it was very competitive. I mean, you're from Muhuru Bay, in a village down there. You submit an application, and you just support the best. So I submitted my application, sat my exams, scored top in the district. And so I got admitted to Starehe Boys Center. Like you said, it was a very, very well-run school, the best school in Kenya at the time. A lot of kids were dreaming of going to Starehe. So I remember the first time we got there, most of us hadn't seen electricity or showers or all these flashing toilets. So we go there, and I remember the first night we were playing with the switches and having fun turning on the showers and flashing the toilets. But the Nairobi kids who grew up in Nairobi, who had been to school, the senior boys who teachers, there's a manners committee that will teach us, okay, this is how you flush. This is how, when you shower, after shower, you turn it off. There was like a long basin. It's not a basin, but a long sink with faucets. And sometimes, you'll get the boys who because the boys will come at different weeks, and the boy will just arrive, they sleep on it and open all the taps, and you find them there lying, and you laugh, and you're like, So we were just so very much confused. It was a very sophisticated system at school, but we had a lot of help. We figured it out, and it became our community.
Yeah, that's so different with Maranda High School. At the time I was going to Maranda High School, we would run for 3.5 miles to go and get to the pond where we would shower. And across the pond from the other side, there were girls from Nyamira High School who were showering and fetching water, So we would carry 20 liters of water all the way back to school, so that, the next few days you don't have to go to the pond.
Wow.
Students
you went to Maranda. Congratulations. That's another big school. After Starehe, faltered, Maranda came up, and that's congratulations. I didn't know you went to such a great school as well. I had no idea.
Maranda Form 1 and 2, Form 3 and 4 Kisumu boys.
Oh, great. Great.
Yeah.
Wow. Congratulations. Those are really, really good schools.
So share with me how you ended up joining the University of Washington from Starehe boys.
Yeah, so I was at Starehe very, very much engaged in service. Starehe was found on this basis of service. From those to whom much has been given, much shall be required. And we believed as kids that a lot had been given to us. We had no hopes of going to high school. We had no hopes of going to college. And once you step into Starehe, you're going to college. Your shoes, we got shoes from Starehe. We got all these really basic things that we didn't grow up with. And so that inspiration, Griffin was still alive at the time they founded the school. And he would always encourage us that, and if you guys get out of here, just remember the benefits you've received and do whatever you can to help others enjoy the same benefits according to your own means. So I'm at Starehe, doing everything I can. I was a student in charge of a medical clinic, the student medical clinic there, and the student first aid. I remember 1998, the bomb blast in Nairobi, with the guys getting the ambulance and getting people to the clinic. And so we, so then I stayed at Starehe, and I had friends here in Seattle who had gone to UW, who had spent some time in Kenya, some white family. And I tell them, hey, I really enjoyed my time in Nairobi, and I would love to check your country out. So I sent applications. I sent, they're called you request for, here they call them brochures, but in Kenya we call them prospectus, something like that.
Yeah, prospective students, they normally send like magazines to Africa, right?
Yeah.
I remember those,
Yeah, so we had a name for them. I think we called them prospectus, something. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, I remember exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
So then I send these requests, and I get these magazines, and University of Washington was one of them, and Niagara Falls was another one. So I apply, and my friends are like, "No, we live near the UW. If you go to Niagara, you won't have friends there." So then I ended up applying to come to UW, and I got admitted. And I came to UW, and it was very interesting when I came to UW because.
What year was this?
I came to UW in 2001. When I came to UW, and actually got my visa to come to UW September. I went for my interview September the 12th after the New York. The tragic, sad events that happened.
9/11.
Yeah, so the next day I got my visa. I come here a week after that, I think. So that was 2001. So I end up here, and it was interesting because, like I was saying, I want to tell you that UW undergrad at the time, I don't know how things are now. There are no African international students. They're just too expensive for any African international undergrad student to come. You have graduate students who come with scholarships, masters, especially in global health. But the undergraduate was so very much, there was no African. Even the black African people, there were very few African American kids there. So you sit in a class and see of these all, a lot of Asian people and white people. And I remember, some students would ask me if I came from a royal family in Africa, if I had a lot of money. I'm like, no way. I'm just,
you're royal in your own way.
It was a lot of things disconnected.
Yeah.
And things worked out. That's how I ended up here.
So then, share with me when then, you're at UW, and then suddenly Mama Maria Clinic comes about. You become a CNN hero in 2007. Walk me through the period between 2001 to 2007 and how you ended up becoming a CNN global hero. Yeah,
so when I was, I come here in 2001, I still was very much engaged. I was looking for organizations that were supporting the continent, especially widows and orphans. So I joined this organization as a volunteer. It was called Urgent Africa. It was run by another Kenyan woman
here in Seattle.
So I do drama for them, like skates, raise money and all that. I was going to UW, and then in 2005 I was taking a trip to go to Kenya, and my dream of having a medical clinic became so doable. At the time, actually, I wasn't even sure I would have a medical clinic. I was like, if I'm going to go back home, I'm going to have a hat, and I'm going to put things like Pepto-Bismol, over-the-counter medication. So like kids with diarrhea, some over-the-counter painkillers, all these things that we really need. The Band-Aid and stuff like that. And then my friends are like, "Oh, that's a great idea. We can help you." So we start gathering stuff. And then a friend of mine was like, "How much money do you need to do that?" And it's like, I even didn't know how much I needed.
Right.
But one thing I knew is that a friend told me to go to his company, my friend Larry, to share what I wanted to do. And then I went there, and people there gave me $5,000. And my friend Larry was like, "I'll match that $5,000. And then another friend said, "I'll match that $5,000. But he ended up with, like 5,600 times 3. I ended up with good amount of money, and that was in 2005. And I did the math.
That's a lot of money.
That's $1 million and something Kenya shillings. That can start a clinic. So I took that money. I went home, rented a small place, very, very small place. Started a clinic that you see on CNN video. That was my first clinic. Rental space, very tiny. But we got a lot done in that place. I mean, people come from miles from Tanzania. I made sure the pharmacy was very well stocked. So that's how I began.
Yeah, man. Now you went and became a CNN hero, And I just wanted you to talk to me a little bit about recently when Akon, the popular Kenyan musician, was touring the US. You are the one who was showing her around. How was the experience working with Akon?
Oh, that was a very beautiful surprise. I had no idea I would even meet Akon. I'd gone to the concert when she was here with a friend. I invited some 4 friends, and we went there. We bought tickets to go and support her. And I didn't get any close to her. I mean, I really, Akon is like way, So I didn't even think I would meet her. But then after the concert, my friend Caro, the owner of that restaurant, called me and said, "Hey, Akon is coming back. If you have the time, we could, we could meet her." And then a friend who has a very nice house and a boat on the lake. So I called my friend and like, "Hey, I called our Beyonce, Kenyan Beyonce is in town. We'll be in town. Would you like to host us and maybe take us out on your boat and all that?" And my friend was like, yeah, sure. My friend had lived in Migori. So he was like, "Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Let's plan." So then Akon, they ended up coming, and we met at my friend's place, and we went on a boat ride, and then we went to the club after that, where I met you that evening.
Right.
But that was my first time meeting Akon. I just met a few hours after that. Before that.
Right.
Yeah, it was like a dream come true. I mean, I was like, I need more of this, but it was so short.
Yeah. She's doing amazing work. And, if you look at the work she's doing, she's almost like a father. Besides music, she's like a father and a mother to her children,
Yeah.
And she's raising girls who are almost as tall as her. And right now, I wanted you to share with me what a father figure means to you.
Yeah, and before I say that, I want to congratulate you, man. You are doing such a great job with your girls.
Thank you.
It's so beautiful seeing you in the garden with them. I see your videos on Facebook. And I remember when I came to get the tickets for the fundraiser.
Right.
You are just coming from the fields. I don't know. There was a soccer match going on.
Right.
Early, in the morning, and you're out with your girls. So.
Right.
A father is just that. A father is somebody who just is there for the children. We bring the children here, and we have the obligation to guide them, to nurture them, to be there for them, to play with them, to teach them share with them our experiences and stuff like that, and just just to provide some kind of permanence in their life, that they know that somebody's there, there that will stand up for me, somebody is there who's going to be brutally honest with me. If I do something that I shouldn't do, they're there to guide me. And so for me, that's what being a father is, and just having fun and sharing with your children.
Right. So here in America, black fathers are struggling a lot. If you look at the Kenyan community, the suicide rate, last week there were 2 Kenyans who committed suicide. This week there are 2 that have committed suicide.
Wow.
Then Philip Roy, who he was a friend of mine and a friend of Ben Ogola, who is also a photographer. He works in the tech industry. Anyhow, Philip was a well-known Kenyan. He also committed suicide in Vancouver. So fathers are struggling to that extent here in America. But also there is a perception that black fathers are lazy, black fathers are irresponsible. If you look at Kenya, deadbeat fathers, this movement that has been shaming irresponsible fathers. I wanted you to share with me what you think people that look like you and me are perceived to be, and how we can change that narrative.
I am so sorry to hear the sad news of our brothers losing their lives in those circumstances. I wasn't aware of that. But being a black man or a black person in anywhere in the world, not just America. You're a black person in India, you're a black person in China, you're a black person in whatever, all these places, black people are just really disrespected. And so you have black fathers here, you have a black man here who is, so you have all those, but so for me, I feel the pain. I feel the pain of what people are going through, and I feel that, I have my challenges as well, like we all do. I think everybody has their challenges, but I think challenges of a black person is like 1,000 times.
Right.
And if you're a father, I'm a father in a mixed relationship, Caucasian mother, and just like you, and mixed kids, and my accent and all that.
Yeah. A lot of layers.
What's that?
A lot of layers.
A lot of layers.
Yeah.
And like you said, we are perceived very differently, despite all that we've done. Getting all the way from wherever you come from, Manyata, to wherever you are now, it's a lot of work.
Right. And even if you forget about us who recently just came here, the black Americans who have been here, they came here as slaves. They came in boats. They came, in deplorable conditions. Many, only the strongest made it. Many died in the oceans. Many died even before they got to the shores of the Atlantic Ocean or the Indian Ocean, and they are still surviving up to now.
And that's what I keep telling people, that we just get to see the snapshot of what we are seeing. But when you go back and look at the resilience of a black man, enduring the slavery, all those things that has happened in history, we are very resilient. And so I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of the fact that we have this very, very strong spirit. I don't think there's any person who can endure all that and still survive. Still survive, and it's very beautiful to see our white brothers and sisters in the streets and feeling this pain with us, and the number is growing.
Right.
Before, that number was so small. You would have a handful of white brothers and sisters saying that, but now we see a growing number of those people marching in. So as we struggle, let's just go back to history and look at South Africa. Just recently, apartheid, ended when you and I were seeing in Africa, in Kenya, and those people are still just moving on with their lives, and so we are very, very resilient. So for our brothers and sisters who are struggling out there, the struggle is not permanent, and the struggle is sometimes the struggle. Let's use the struggle to strengthen us, and just like really look back to where we came from. I came from a very rugged background, and I have it in my heart that I don't think any of these things can intimidate me. I'm just like, you know what? I am going to fight. I'm going to fight to raise my children. I'm going to fight to protect my children, and I'm going to fight to protect myself. And to protect my community, to protect the people I love, just be a good person in the community. So the struggles are there, but let's turn those struggles into strength.
Right.
Let's. I know that's easier said than done.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying.
Back to your point, if we can just have a community of people who share those struggles, and with honesty and openness and commitment to be with people, because what I see is that people meet like once in like 1 year. You share. I had some of my struggles and I shared with my friend. And I thought he would be there with me. Immediately I shared, he was gone. I never seen him. It's been 5 years. I'm like, that was so depressing. So like, if we can just like have some community that we really care about each other.
A support system.
We have this continuity of care and sharing. That'd be fantastic.
Thank you. Now, to the listeners of the African Father in America podcast, today I have been having an amazing conversation with my brother Peter Kithene, who is the founder of the Mama Maria Medical Clinic that operates 4 hospitals in Kenya. We talked about my brother Peter's story, how he grew up in Muhuru Bay, how he grew up in Kwale County, how he lost 6 of his siblings, and how that inspired him to start Mama Maria Medical Clinic, how he struggled and went to Starehe Boys Center, a very prestigious high school in Kenya, and then he came to the University of Washington, and through his connections he was able to start Mama Maria Medical Clinic that is continuing to serve many people in very rural parts of Kenya that have no healthcare services. We also talked about what a father figure means to my brother Peter. We then talked about the perception about black fathers. We talked about how black fathers can support each other. And now we are wrapping up today's conversation, and I just want to thank you all for joining us. Before we go, I want to ask my brother Peter to let you know how you can all learn more about his work and how you can stay connected with him.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I don't have a website at this time. It's under construction. So,
Right.
But the best way to stay in touch is you can like our Facebook page, Mama Maria Kenya, on Facebook. You can follow up with Javan, and Javan. Sorry, I'm calling you Javan.
That's okay. That's my middle name.
Simon will get in touch, and my email address is there, and so you can provide them with my email address if you want, and whoever wants to stay in touch will stay in touch. But I'm also asking that things like this, Simon, we keep them going.
Thank you.
We form a community of continuity. We not to support our work or whatever we are doing, but just like to be there for each other,
Right.
and to be there for the fathers who are struggling, the mothers who are struggling,
Right.
Our children who are sometimes caught in the middle of those struggles, and just if we can glean from each other, hey, how did this happen, and how did you do this,
Right.
and how we can make a difference in somebody's life. And yeah.
Thank you very, very much. And thank you to all the listeners of the African Father in America podcast. Remember to follow me on Twitter at Javan Okelo, on TikTok and Instagram at Simon Javan Okelo, and I also use my full names at Simon Javan Okelo on LinkedIn and Facebook, and also YouTube. I just started a YouTube channel for this podcast recently, so remember to subscribe to that. I really appreciate you for rating us on iTunes. I appreciate all the support, and again, thank you for joining me for today's episode with my brother Peter Kithene, the founder of Mama Maria Medical Clinic in Kenya. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much. Peace
Thanks,
and love.
Kevin.
Father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. African Father in